You have probably heard of Singulair.
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 Or Singular. Singular.
Singulair. Singulair.
Or Singular.
But Singulair can have serious side effects. As Kelly Wallace reports, the FDA wants to know if suicide is one of them.
82 suicides, 31 victims under 19, all linked to a single asthma medication. These aren't just numbers, they're lives cut short, families left shattered, and a medical community scrambling for answers. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how Singulair, a drug once compared to a sugar pill, became the center of a pharmacological nightmare. We'll break down the science, the statistics, and the stories behind this unfolding tragedy. In 1998, a new asthma medication hit the market, promising relief with side effects supposedly as mild as a sugar pill. Doctors and patients alike hailed Singulair as a revolutionary treatment, offering hope to millions struggling with asthma and allergies. Singulair, developed by pharmaceutical giant Merck & Company, was designed to prevent and treat the symptoms of asthma and allergies. Its mechanism of action was unique at the time. Instead of simply treating symptoms, it worked by decreasing inflammation in the airways, making breathing easier for those afflicted with respiratory issues. The drug's early marketing campaigns painted a rosy picture. Advertisements claimed that Singulair's side effects were benign, comparing them to those of a placebo. The medication's label reassured patients and healthcare providers, stating that any distribution of the drug in the brain was minimal. This carefully crafted image of safety and efficacy quickly propelled Singulair to blockbuster status. Singulair's rise was meteoric. Millions of prescriptions were written annually, with both adults and children benefiting from its purported effectiveness. For Merck, it became a financial juggernaut, generating substantial profits and cementing the company's position in the pharmaceutical industry. The drug's success story seemed perfect, a much-needed treatment with apparently negligible side effects. Patients reported significant improvements in their quality of life, able to breathe easier and engage in activities that were once challenging. Healthcare providers praised Singulair's effectiveness, often prescribing it as a first-line treatment for asthma and allergies. However, beneath the surface of this success story, troubling signs began to emerge. As more patients used Singulair over extended periods, reports of unexpected side effects started to trickle in. These weren't the mild sugar pill effects promised in the marketing materials. Instead, patients described vivid nightmares, sudden mood changes, and even thoughts of self-harm. Initially, these reports were sporadic and easily dismissed as unrelated to the medication. After all, the drug's safety profile had been established through clinical trials, and its label indicated minimal brain effects. But, as time went on, the number of reports grew, and a disturbing pattern began to take shape. By 2019, thousands of reports of neuropsychiatric episodes had been documented in patients prescribed Singulair. Even more alarming, dozens of suicides were potentially linked to the medication. These reports painted a stark contrast to the benign side effect profile initially claimed by Merck. The emerging concerns raise serious questions about Singulair's true impact on the brain and mental health. How could a drug, marketed as having minimal brain distribution, be potentially linked to such severe psychiatric symptoms? The disconnect between the early claims of safety and the growing number of adverse event reports was stark and troubling. But the true extent of Singulair's impact was yet to be uncovered. What if the very drug meant to improve your quality of life was secretly altering your brain chemistry? As concerns mounted, scientists began to peel back the layers of Singulair's deceptively simple facade, revealing a complex and troubling reality. As reports of neuropsychiatric side effects continued to accumulate, a disturbing pattern emerged. Patients prescribed Singulair were experiencing vivid nightmares, sudden mood swings, and in some cases, suicidal thoughts. These adverse event reports painted a stark contrast to the drug's presumed safety profile, raising alarming questions about its true impact on mental health. The growing number of reports presented a significant challenge for researchers and regulators. Identifying medication-induced psychiatric symptoms is notoriously difficult, as mental health issues can have multiple underlying causes. Furthermore, the original clinical trials and marketing claims for Singulair had suggested minimal brain effects, creating a disconnect between the drug's perceived safety and the experiences of many patients. As concerns escalated, the FDA was forced to respond. Initially, the agency approached the situation cautiously, acknowledging the reports while emphasizing the need for further investigation. This measured response, however, did little to quell the growing unease among patients, healthcare providers, and safety advocates. Driven by mounting evidence and public pressure, researchers began to investigate Singulair's effects on the brain more thoroughly. Their work would lead to a startling revelation that would shake the foundations of what was known about the drug's mechanism of action. In a groundbreaking study, scientists Julia Marschallinger and Ludwig Eigner made a crucial discovery. Their research indicated that montelukast, the active ingredient in Singulair, was capable of penetrating the blood-brain barrier in rats. This finding suggested that the drug could potentially affect human brain function as well, although the exact implications remained unclear. This revelation was a turning point. It directly contradicted the long-held belief that Singulair's distribution in the brain was minimal, as stated on the drug's label. The ability of the medication to cross the blood-brain barrier opened up a host of new questions about its potential neurological and psychiatric effects. The FDA's own analysis, led by Jessica Oliphant, a deputy director at the National Center for Toxicological Research, provided further evidence of Singulair's impact on the brain. Laboratory tests revealed significant binding of montelukast to brain receptors involved in mood, impulse control, cognition, and sleep. This finding suggested a direct mechanism by which the drug could potentially cause the reported psychiatric side effects. The discovery opened a Pandora's box of questions about Singulair's true impact. While Singulair was busy opening airways, it was also opening doors in the brain that were never meant to be unlocked. New research revealed a mechanism of action far more invasive than anyone had imagined, raising a chilling question. What happens when an asthma drug starts pulling the strings of our very consciousness? The FDA's recent internal study on Singulair's neurological effects, led by Jessica Oliphant, a deputy director at the National Center for Toxicological Research, uncovered a startling truth. Laboratory tests showed significant binding of montelukast, Singulair's active ingredient, to brain receptors crucial for regulating mood, impulse control, cognition, and sleep. This finding directly contradicted the long-held belief that the drug's effects were limited to the respiratory system. Originally designed to target the lungs and alleviate asthma symptoms, Singulair's reach extended far beyond its intended destination. The medication wasn't just passing through the brain, it was actively engaging with it, latching onto receptors that play vital roles in our mental processes and behavior. This unexpected interaction raised serious concerns about the potential for unintended consequences. The brain receptors affected by Singulair are integral to our daily functioning. They help regulate our emotions, control our impulses, thought processes, and govern our sleep patterns. By binding to these receptors, Singulair could potentially disrupt these essential functions, leading to the range of neuropsychiatric symptoms reported by patients. Experts in the field expressed deep concern about these findings. Julia Marschallinger, a scientist at Austria's Institute of Molecular Regenerative Medicine, stated bluntly, "It's definitely doing something that's concerning." This sentiment echoed throughout the scientific community as researchers grappled with the implications of Singulair's newly discovered mechanism of action. The behavior of montelukast in the brain appeared eerily similar to other drugs known to have neuropsychiatric effects, such as the antipsychotic risperidone. This parallel raised red flags about the potential for Singulair to cause similar adverse outcomes, despite its intended use as an asthma medication. As researchers dug deeper, they found that montelukast concentrations were highest in brain regions known to be involved in psychiatric effects. While more research is needed to fully understand the implications for patients, this discovery hinted at a direct link between the drug's presence in the brain and the reported mental health side effects. The revelations about Singulair's interactions with the brain cast a long shadow over its use. Millions of past and current users suddenly faced unsettling questions about the medication's impact on their mental health. Had the drug that helped them breathe easier also been silently altering their mood, behavior, and cognitive function? As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, a clearer picture emerged of how Singulair could affect mood, impulse control, cognition, and sleep. The drug's binding to crucial brain receptors provided a plausible explanation for the wide range of neuropsychiatric symptoms reported by patients, from vivid nightmares to sudden mood changes and even suicidal thoughts. With the mechanism exposed, attention turned to the human toll. The story of Singulair isn't just about molecules and brain receptors. It's about shattered dreams, stolen futures, and a question that haunts thousands of families. Could a simple asthma pill have driven their loved ones to suicide? Sarah, a promising 16-year-old athlete, had her world turned upside down after starting Singulair. Within weeks, her vibrant personality dimmed, replaced by an inexplicable depression that threatened to derail her future. Sadly, Sarah's experience is far from isolated. Across the country, patients and families grappled with sudden, often severe changes in mental health after beginning treatment with the asthma medication. The struggle to connect these symptoms to Singulair was profound. Many patients, like Sarah, had no prior history of mental health issues. Their doctors, trained to view the drug as safe and effective, often dismissed initial concerns. This disconnect left families feeling helpless and confused as they watched their loved ones transform before their eyes. The statistics paint a grim picture. At least 31 reported suicides linked to Singulair involved individuals aged 19 or younger, highlighting the drug's potential impact on vulnerable young patients. One such case was Nick England, a healthy 22-year-old with no prior mental health issues. His father, Robert, recounted how Nick took his own life less than 2 weeks after starting Montelukast, Singulair's active ingredient. The drastic change in Nick's behavior after beginning the medication was a stark testament to its potential risks. For asthma sufferers, the revelations about Singulair created a heart-wrenching dilemma. The medication that allowed them to breathe freely might also be silently altering their brain chemistry. Patients found themselves weighing the tangible benefits of improved respiratory function against the unseen, but potentially devastating risks to their mental health. As more stories emerged, a grassroots movement began to form. Patients, families, and advocacy groups pushed for stronger warnings and more restricted use of Singulair. Their efforts, combined with mounting scientific evidence, finally compelled action from regulatory bodies. In 2020, after an extensive review and consultation with outside experts, the FDA made a significant decision. They mandated the addition of a black box warning to Singulair, the strongest safety warning possible for prescription drugs. This stark alert would now inform patients and healthcare providers about the potential for serious mental health side effects, including suicidal thoughts and actions. But for many, the warning came too late. Despite the FDA's action, a troubling gap in awareness persisted. Many healthcare professionals and patients remained unaware of the risks associated with Singulair, highlighting the challenges in effectively communicating critical safety information about widely used medications. The Singulair saga serves as a sobering reminder of the complexities inherent in modern pharmacology. As research continues, and experts work to understand the full implications of Montelukast's accumulation in the nervous system, one thing is clear: the story of Singulair is far from over, and its impact will be felt for years to come. The Singulair case reveals critical gaps in our drug safety monitoring systems and the delicate balance between medical benefits and risks. It underscores the need for ongoing vigilance in assessing medications, even years after their initial approval. As patients, we must take an active role in our healthcare decisions. Always discuss new medications thoroughly with your doctor, asking about potential side effects and reporting any unusual symptoms promptly. Don't hesitate to seek a second opinion if you have concerns. Looking ahead, researchers are exploring new asthma treatments that aim to provide relief without impacting brain receptors linked to mood and cognition. The lessons learned from Singulair will undoubtedly shape the development and monitoring of drugs for years to come. Thank you for watching. If you found this information helpful, share it with others so we can continue to build a well-informed community. Stay informed, stay empowered.